So today's video will run through whether investing in property right now as of 2021 is still a worthwhile investment. Now, the property market has been tough for investors for the past few years, which is why you're seeing a lot less activity on investors buying properties. And for many of us, we're just waiting to see the market settle to get a clearer picture of what's going on. However, for today's video, I want to pinpoint on a few things. Why you should invest today, the only reason you maybe shouldn't invest today, and where you should invest. So if that sounds like something you want to watch and maybe learn about, then let's roll that intro, because it's been a while. What's going on, everyone? My name is Aaron, aka The Anxious Investor, and along with being a full-time property investor, I spend a hell of a lot of time creating videos like this and shorter ones like this over on Instagram to help you guys invest in property and make your journey easier and alleviate any of the anxieties you may have. I've also created a program which, if you're interested, you can check in the description below, but again, there's no obligation to do that, so please don't worry. So why should you invest today? So first and foremost, the most important thing mentioning is inflation. Inflation has slowly been creeping up this month, and statistics have shown that the rate of inflation has increased from 2.1% to 2.5% as of recording this video today, which is the highest it's been for nearly 3 years. Now, in case you're thinking, well, what has inflation got to do with this and why is it important? It is. So stick with me. Because simply as the cost of goods and services start to increase, the value of our purchasing power, i.e. our money, slowly starts to decrease, and in the long term, these small increases of 0.4% will start to add up and take their toll. So our pound is basically worth less. Now, the things you could buy with £100 or even £1, let's keep this example simple, can no longer be purchased for £1. And this is the big problem, because not only are we losing the race against inflation by letting our money not work for us through investments, we are often trusting them in banks with ridiculously low interest rates, which in my humble opinion is the worst possible place to leave your money. So for that, I would say moving it into property that at least provides some annual return to mitigate against inflation is a simple no-brainer. However, the only reason you shouldn't invest today is what I'm about to explain now. You see, as mentioned earlier in the video, we are in a crazy market, and simply dumping your cash into a house because someone on the internet told you to do so isn't always the wisest decision, even though financially you may be better off. And what I actually mean by this is that how you spend your money in property will determine how wealthy you could become and how much cash flow you can actually benefit from. Now, knowing prices are ridiculously high and finding deals either takes more patience and time or creativity in certain aspects, is simply a sweat equity exercise. You can potentially go and buy a standard buy-to-let from a local estate agent and whack down 25% and make more than your current account is giving you today. But you could also be smarter, refine your numbers and deal criteria down and make it stretch that bit further, i.e. find a better deal. However, this of course comes at an opportunity cost. For some of us, we will make a move relatively quickly, knowing that a buy-to-let purchase, the start to end process can take 3 to 4 months and time is of the essence. But I know for others watching this, we get stuck in analysis paralysis. And when you add that to the length of time just to purchase and rent out a property, you could be a year or maybe 2 years down the line without realizing you just basically allowed your money to deteriorate and inflation to eat it. So what I would say is, if you don't have enough knowledge, then maybe investing today isn't the right thing to do. Because if you buy the wrong house in the wrong location, it could put you off for years. And I don't want anyone to be put off investing in property who watches this channel. And actually, while I'm on that, a second point for why investing right now may not be for you is because you may be saving for something larger or lucrative down the line. And although you are technically losing value as the months roll by, playing the slightly longer game, in the long term, it can actually work out in your favor. So if that's on your mind, then I think it's very sensible to wait. I have waited many times to buy the right property. And finally, where should you invest? Now, I've got multiple videos on this in terms of how much you have to spend and what you could do with that, which may be a good starting block for you all. So maybe check those out as I link them in the description. It will give you a taster of, if I have this much money, where can I put this money to get the best returns? So definitely check that out. And once you've watched that, I would then begin to understand your local area and see, is this an area where tenants are decent? Should you choose to go down the route of letting an investment property rather than flipping, for example? And by doing this short-term long-term analysis of understanding your area and deciding on whether your current area is the right one or moving away potentially because maybe it's not the right one, then I would seriously consider putting your money into an asset that yields better results than the banks are simply giving you now. And I would also urge you to ensure that your figures for exactly how much you can cash flow per month are accurate. So even on a bad day, taking into account voids, maintenance, all your insurance costs and mortgage payments, you still should be making substantially more than the interest a bank is giving you. And once you've done all of that, have a long, hard think about how long would you be happy to leave your money in that particular house. Because one of the best lessons I can give you all is, if you've made it this far in this video, is that the longer you stay in the game of property investing by holding on to properties, the richer and wealthier you will become. Even with all the dips and all the property cycle stuff we see, property always bounces back, but sometimes it can take ages. So providing the cash flow still works for you, even when you stress test it, investing your money right now may actually be a perfect decision. Whereas on the flip side, if you want to be liquid in maybe a year or so's time and you've got fears of a potential market correction, then I would consider holding out. In fact, if that's you, I'm doing a video on alternative investments soon, which may be of some insight and hopefully helpful as well. And with that, my good friends, I think it's time to end the video. I want to sincerely thank you guys for sticking around when you could have been doing anything, and it truly means the world to me that you spent a few moments with me. And if you found any of this useful, a simple like would help the channel massively and let the YouTube guys know the Anxious Investor is here. So until next time, thanks for watching.